So we can discuss about what happens truly when the search comes to an end in full consciousness. As everyone deep within have this highest desire to know thyself. And it's such a great force within that at first it takes us into so many various directions. At first, it's more of an external direction of searching for happiness, fulfillment, for love, for peace. And that search is projected in the external reality, in our environments, in our jobs, in our relationships. But at some point, when we experience these accomplishments, we realize that that wasn't the ultimate truth of the search, of the drive from within, because somehow we remain unfulfilled and still searching for something greater to happen to us. At some point, this search shifts, becomes an internal search. It's when one person becomes spiritually inclined, searching within, navigating through all the various planes of existence, unveiling all these veils of limited views of the ultimate reality. And it's a long and windy journey. For some souls, it can be much shorter time as they step into this very direct approach towards the ultimate true realization of the full consciousness, the true self. While other souls may take decades, lifetimes, according to the time, according to the alignment of that soul. From the highest view, there is no time, there is no space, thus there is no rush. God is in no rush for you to return back home. There's always a perfect alignment with the whole unfoldment of your soul's experience. So as we open up into our full consciousness, this is where we can truly experience the end of the search. And with that comes an immense, immense relief. It marks the end of the seeker and awakens the pure seer. But this at no means it is the end. We may assume that when we open to full consciousness, it's the end of some idea that we may have imprinted within us. Yes, of course, it's the end of the search, and that's quite a milestone, because that is a start, that is a beginning for you as a human being to start a life where you have absolute crystal clear clarity of whom you truly are. And that marks a new birthing, a new way of becoming natural, becoming the natural you, beyond any assumptions of how you should look like when you return home, beyond any ideas of what spirituality may have looked like, because even that meaning of being spiritual also disintegrates. Because in full consciousness, all these meanings that we have placed upon things, they all fall away. Even we may have placed some meaning upon love. You may have placed some meaning on a certain purpose of your life and how it is to be spiritual. But all of these words which have a certain meaning, they all disintegrate. They lose that power of meaning, because your true self is beyond and above of any meaning placed. This is how free, this is how ungraspable and untouched your true nature, your full consciousness is, beyond any meaning, beyond any labels you have placed upon being your true self. So how does life look like to be in your full natural state of consciousness? Well, your life will continue to evolve, to resolve, what is still unresolved in your consciousness. And that may take many years of integration of that full consciousness to integrate into the lower vehicles of your consciousness. So thus, you will still continue to resolve the deeper aspects of the unconsciousness and some subconsciousness. Although you open to full consciousness realization, full consciousness is so vast. It is impossible for you to step into full consciousness and claim that you know it. Full consciousness, the absolute God, is boundless. It's like you would say, I've traveled to Japan. I've landed in a country I've never been before. And just by landing in a new country, you would claim that you know Japan. It's the same metaphor, so to speak, that opening to full consciousness, yes, giving you the full access beyond all veils to self-realize who you truly are, is the pinnacle, it's the very, very start of rediscovering that boundless vastness of your absolute natural full consciousness. It takes years and years of deeper familiarization and ways how that reconfirms to you who you are. And on another level, as this more heightened power of full consciousness strengthens in you, and as you abide further more in full consciousness, there are so many various levels that still need time to unwind, untangle from the deep unconscious mind. So in no means this is the end. But what changes here is that you become so one, not just with life, but as life. The more you abide in your full consciousness, in your natural state, the more you see and realize how everything, all life happening, is happening inside of you. If a bird may be chirping somewhere so seen in front of your eyes, but from your true self, that bird is singing inside of you. When you meet someone, you're really seeing yourself. So when you become one as life, what happens here is that the story of my life, which equals to the sufferer, that too disintegrates. There is no more sufferer. If I have experienced in these past 2 weeks great, great pain, I experience the pain as it is. There was no sufferer, there was no narrative. That's all gone and disappeared. So you live life as one. You, life is one, absolute oneness. And within this unfoldment of every moment, you're always one with it. There is no sufferer that rises with the narrative of why that pain is there, and there is nothing added to it. It's pure pain, and that's it. Without a sufferer, without the narrative. So you can say you meet life, but as life in its pure isness of its every moment unfoldment without any resistance. You're open. You're open to pain. If pain comes, it's pain. You're open to bliss. If bliss comes, it's bliss. You're always open because you are the life itself. And all the happenings are moving through you. And it's all unfolding and happening without the sufferer involved. So yes, in full consciousness, the search fades away, but yet you are open as life, taking it all in as it appears and disappears. You are free in the midst of any pain. You are free because there is no sufferer involved. And this is what the opening of your full consciousness will give you. Going beyond the sufferer, which creates all the unnecessary problems. So recognize that the sufferer is an identity with the I, myself. But once you go beyond the I, sufferer, you are free no matter what is unfolding and happening and changing in the oneness of life. Because life will continue to happen. All sort of experiences will come and go. But you always remain you, your natural self. And everything else is a part of the integration. And yes, you may need to resolve some further karmic energies in deeper and deeper levels, even after opening in full consciousness. And you will continue to enlighten the unconsciousness in you. That doesn't happen in a day. But the more you give your power to your natural self, beyond the I, beyond the sufferer, beyond the illusions of this and that, you are strengthening your capacity, thus you're abiding like an anchoring in your true self, and you're never forgetting who you are. No life experience can distract you from knowing the absolute truth beyond any disillusions that may or have been present. So we have a question here. As many times the ego I comes up, and it comes up in a way that creates certain fears of if I surrender this I, will I lose myself? So the question is full consciousness realization the end of human experience? Because we may assume that in full consciousness we will freeze in some kind of bliss and peace, or we may fear that we become alienated in some ways, that we lose our human touch, or we lose a certain empathy towards others. Some people are afraid of this. What will happen to me when I lose myself? What will happen to my humanness? Well, the truth is that when you open to full consciousness, here is where you can truly become the most normal and natural human being that you can ever be. You will find your own unique ways. It's going to be different for everyone. The way it appears, or the angle of perception, or way of communication. But ultimately, it is the one natural self, is you and me, and all sentient beings. So your human experience becomes free and liberated. Couldn't be any more human than this. Natural, being you, unconditioned, being you without the sufferer. It doesn't mean that you won't experience pain or things happening, but without the sufferer. Without the I, me, myself, suffering. Beyond the story of my life. So as you can realize, the sufferer, the I, is always placing a lot of additional energies on top of the isness of now. So whatever is placed on top is what indicates within that needs to be resolved. And it is also with inquiry to trace and go beyond the sufferer, going beyond the I, and realize what has always been here. So what comes next? Well, here in full consciousness, because so many ideas and assumptions and fantasies and desires have faded away to nothing, then what comes next is now. It is always now. Now in oneness as life. And it's simple. As it's here. Beyond comprehension, beyond any philosophy or religion. Being here now is what is next. But yet it's so enriching, so nourishing, so powerful, so beautiful. To be one as life is to be one with God. Without the slight separation. Oneness with life is oneness with God. So what comes next is being open to everything. Being open with everything.